what's kind of happening right now, which is very exciting at the same time, is that books don't have that monopoly because we're getting information from all these different sources. The book doesn't really have that obligation or the monopoly that they used to. There's kind of all this potential that kind of opens up with what do we do with these forms now. I like the idea of taking a book and kind of redefining it. And so with my work, when I seal up a book, I have no idea what I'm going to run into. By sealing it up, you're kind of creating this control over it, which is kind of a dominant position. But then once I kind of carve into it, there's this interaction again, and it's a communication between me and the content that's already there. I can't control what's going to come up on the next page, but I can kind of react to it. Most of the materials I use are pre-existing media, like books and cassette tapes, and a lot of materials that are rich with information and rich with ideas and full of connotations and meanings that people that can kind of connect to. And what I'm trying to do is redefine them in a way that kind of might make more sense and kind of bring new life to it. In one way, I think of technology and a lot of occurrences and systems that happen with new media, and try to think of how to apply what's going on with that with older kind of solid analog media that people take for granted and assume that this will never change. This is a book and this is solid. I took the same book and did 3 variations of the Chronicle of the 20th century. So one of them is called Chronicle, one of them is called Chronic, and the other one's called Con, kind of breaking down that word. And what I did is every time I would remove a layer, I would take a still shot. So between the 3 pieces, I have over 10,000 photographs that I've taken. I put that at 12 frames per second and animated that, so it kind of has a video of the actual piece becoming excavated. All is the same piece of artwork, but in a way the videos are almost the piece, and the book is kind of the specimen or the artifact left over after the piece is made. I do think of, like most media, because it's not something that is like a solid inanimate object. And even a book is never inanimate because it always has this potential to take somebody in a different direction and to kind of have a conversation. The book itself is kind of related to our head and our hands. And so I do think of the book as kind of a living material, a living body in a way. And that's part of the reason I think that people value them so much and get so disturbed by the idea of throwing away a book or destroying a book or altering a book, is because it's this valuable entity that's almost like it is alive. I do think of it as kind of a remix in a way. I think most of what's going on with music and architecture and fashion and movies lately kind of has been a remix because so much has been done, and there are 2 different ways you can go about that. You can try to do something completely original and you might be copying what someone else has already done, or you can take what someone else has already done, be conscious of that fact, and think of, okay, now I'm going to investigate this or manipulate this to kind of make it my own. But at the same time, I'm never claiming the images as my own. Just my intervention becomes what I've done to it. When I make my work, altering the book, once that's done, I have no control over the way people can interpret that. The author has that control, or the publisher has that control while they make the book, and then they lose that control once it exists. And same with my work. I kind of have that control during the process, but I completely lose that control once I'm done with the piece.